You just got back from the American College of Cardiology Conference in Orlando. Is that correct?
Happiest place on earth.
Is that right?
That's what they say.
Orlando is.
That's what they say.
A lot of mice running around with big ears down there.
Absolutely.
And is it true in this conference, one of the big studies that came out of this was that barbershops are a great place for healthcare?
Absolutely true.
What's going on here?
Well, actually, it's pretty neat. We think about healthcare, and we think about hospitals, and we think about doctors' offices, and all of the rigmarole that has to do with those establishments.
Right.
And a lot of times, every single part of those can be barriers.
And intimidating.
Yeah. So this study, which is actually the second of its kind, incorporated barbershops with a pharmacist in the African American community, and utilized people going in, getting haircuts regularly, then getting their blood pressure measured, and when their blood pressure was too high, they would get their blood pressure medications adjusted, and found that using this, so going to where people already go as part of their natural week, blood pressures were markedly lower, markedly better improved than trying to get people into the doctor's office and playing it the old-fashioned way.
So instead of us going to the doctor comes to us.
So they didn't do it with a doctor. They did it technically with a pharmacist who was licensed to be able to follow a protocol, which was it's not that hard necessarily to pick what medication to add if you need a second one or a third one, but to look at the measurements and to get the protocol going. If there were issues or concerns, obviously you could opt out and be advised to get to the doctor's office. But trying to get in people's communities to improve health, this is I think something that we need to really consider doing. When we talk about how much money we spend on healthcare, we talk about the price of drugs, we talk about the price of everything, but we're not investing in trying to make this part of the fabric of our life. And when we invest in making healthcare part of the fabric of our life, then we bring down blood pressures, and you can bring down blood pressures over 15 or 20 years. You're really going to cut down on strokes, and you're really going to cut down on heart attacks, as well as amputations and need for dialysis amongst the beginning parts.
Because historically, black men have a history of high blood pressure.
Unfortunately, black men and black women. We haven't necessarily gotten to the study where we're hitting the women yet.
Yeah,
but,
I need to hit the beauty shops.
Yes, but yes.
That's totally sexist.
I think, well, you can look at these things as sexist and or racist. But there's been multiple movies, of course, already done about this, where the barbershop is part of the community. It's part of the fabric of the African American man's community. And so I think that's why I think this is brilliant, because let's go there.
Yeah.
Let's go there, and let's get people to have better blood pressures again over 10 or 15 years.
Let's just not leave it in the black community. The white men have a propensity to avoid going to the doctor.
Well, that's why we shouldn't necessarily just say we're only going to do this.
No, right. But the study
Across
focused on the study focused on African Americans and barbershops. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So if we start looking at opportunities like this across multiple different areas, I think we can start really making a difference.
Right. Well, in a sense, back in the I don't know if this is just a stereotype or Hollywood, but back in the Little House on the Prairie days, the doctor was part of the fabric of the community.
Was completely part of the fabric of the community, came to all the social events, did house calls, all of that. I think, the problem with respect to that is it rapidly transformed, and now the doctor, unfortunately, I guess that's me on this show. We're part of kind of big business corporate America. And so that puts all of those barriers in between, average Joe and average Jill and us.
Well, you're also kind of seeing that, aren't you, with the urgent cares that are popping up, and the pharmacies, the CVSs, the Walgreens that are trying to incorporate sort of doctors and all that stuff into their world?
A little bit, but to me, here's the difference, McGraw. Those types of things are great. There's nothing wrong with them, but except for the philosophy. The philosophy is wait until something's wrong with you, and then go get seen. The philosophy of the concept of barbershop management of blood pressure is we're not going to wait until something happens to you. We're not going to wait until you have a heart attack. We're not going to wait until you have a stroke. We want to actually prevent those things from happening. And that's really a better way to go.
Yeah.
We've just always kind of said, yeah, prevention's better. We can't do it so well. Now we're actually figuring out ways where we can do it better.
Dr. Michael Lim, good stuff. Cardiologist with SLU Care and SSM Health, SLU Hospital.